Hi, I'm Richard Raffan, and I'm going to show you how I get a bowl blank from this bit of it's a silky oak. It's cut 2 or 3 weeks ago. Now the first thing to do is to get rid of everything I don't want in the final bowl, which is splits. So I've got lots of little end grain splits here. They're there, there's another one there, lots of little ones there. So first thing is always to cut the end off so I'm free of splits. And I also want this end at right angles to the main face. Now this is a half log. This is where the pith was, and when it was cut first, it was just cut down the middle with a chainsaw. So this gets turned round. This is a Laguna bandsaw, and it'll cut up to 33 centimeters deep, which is just over a foot. So the aim is going to be to cut the ends off, and then I can push it through on end, and basically want to get it cut up, cut square, and then I can cut the disc out of it. Right, so that's my dust extractor going. I need hearing protection. It's easiest to look at the offcut to look for more splits. That looks pretty good. So I can turn it around and do the same thing the other end. And I might as well cut it to the kind of length as well, so that'll be 30 centimeters. That'll be about right. The main thing when you're cutting with a bandsaw, try and keep your hands behind the blade. Now I'm also going to take just a thin slither off. Now, if you're not quite sure whether, often there are little splits which kind of get hidden away, but if you take a thin slither and then bend it, you can see where the splits are, and we've got one there which I haven't seen, which is really inconvenient. So that means I need to take another cut off that until I get away from that. So probably need to take about 1 inch off. Which means you're going to have a smaller bowl. Very irritating. That doesn't want to break, so that's okay. Good. Now, next thing is to decide what kind of bowl I want. And this is actually Dave the cameraman's blank, so what do you want?
A round one.
He wants a round blank. Right, so you have 2 choices here. We've got, you can have a deep bowl, which would be, I'll draw it actually with a texture here. So we've got a bowl shape which could be in here, and you could have the foot around here. So you've got that. I could have a round bowl, enclose the shape, and there's that kind of shape there. Or you could have two bowls, and you can cut that across there, so you've got a shallow bowl in that situation and another bowl there.
That sounds good.
So that sounds good. So what's going to happen now is I need to get a flat surface, so I've got two ways of cutting that. One is to stick the tool up on end, and because this face is square to that, and I can just push it straight through the saw, but that does produce a very long shaving. It produces wood wool and tends to clog up the saw, so it's probably better to cut off a flat here, and then I can put it through the side on end grain. And in fact, you'll see I'm going to cut that off with the piece on end anyway, so I'll do that first and then we'll make the other cut. So that just needs to come up a fraction. And I've got a little pushing block here. Going to quite make that. Bring that down so we don't have any more blade exposed than need be. And using the push block just for the last bit. That now means I can stand that on end. I might just take this bit off too, less to go through the saw. I've got that flat surface. I should have looked at the other face. There's a big split there. Well, that split goes down quite a long way, so Dave's got one big bowl and some little ones. So with this situation, I'm just going to cut that split out. So go down to about there and there, so I'm going to take that off, and then you've got small blanks at the bottom. Turn everything off so we can hear ourselves think. So I've now got the two, probably get two small bowls out of this, and there's dividers, so you can generally just kind of pace it out and see what we've got. Yes, I can get one slightly larger at the other end, so there's that. So I won't necessarily cut this right now, but that will be able to get a bowl out of that. Although the sooner these get turned, the better, because the wood is likely to split. We're getting a 30-degree days at the moment, so the wood doesn't really like that. But for the moment, it's going to sit in some wood shavings, and the other one will cut the original blank. That's also going to get a couple of bowls out of it, or the other way of doing it is to square it up, and then you've got some potentially some box blanks, but then it's got to dry out, so that's maybe 3 years off or so. So turn this one, this will be a nice little bowl. Now, the nice thing with the dividers is you're going to scribe a mark, and you're going to have a hole in the middle, so you know where the centre is for a screw chuck. And we'll just cut that round. Right, so that will be this afternoon's task for Dave, and we might just talk about, if you've got a smaller log, this is a piece of box elder, and the pith is off to one side of it. Oh, this has got a split at this end. So to deal with a log like this, I'm going to cut it through the middle first, along the line of the split, which is over there. I'm going to do it that way because then the pith is more or less vertical, so I can eyeball where it needs to go. You can see the wood wool coming off the saw blade. Just take a bit more off that. So that then gets a circle drawn on it. And there is a bit of an overhang, so you need to support the wood. There's a big blade, doesn't really like going around this kind of radius. Right, so ideally this is a 3/4 inch blade, 20mm blade. Ideally that would have been a 1/2 inch, which would have been easier to go around the corners. And that, again, that'll be the top of the bowl, and that'll turn off, so that'll come up quite nicely. And that's the basics of cutting a bowl blank.